All right, wanted to give an update on the opening weekend in the WNBA. The three players that are from San Diego, the three that I'm going to be focusing on this season: Kelsey Plum, Dejanay Carrington, and Tina Paopao. All three, I gave a preview going into the season, the day before the season started. And the Sparks have played a couple of games. Dejanay and the Wings have played a game. They play again tonight against the Seattle Storm. I think it's at 5. And then Paopao and the Atlanta Dream have played a game as well. So let's start with the Dream, and then we'll work our way to the Wings, and then with the Sparks. With Paopao and the Dream, they lost 94-90 to the Washington Mystics. The Mystics, they're 2-0 to start off their season. One of those wins was against the Connecticut Sun. But getting back to the Dream here in this 4-point loss for them, Tina Paopao started this game. In that first video that I put up on the Dream, I think I said Jordan Canada, I thought she was healthy. She's not. She ended up not playing. It's a right knee injury, and she's a guard and would have taken minutes from Tina Paopao, I assume. So Paopao, this is an opportunity for her to, continue to get a good amount of minutes. I mean, in a 40-minute game, 25 minutes for Paopao. Not a lot of shots, but when you have Brianna Jones, you have Brittany Griner, Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, you're going to have those players take the shots. You're going to have them. It makes sense. Paopao is more of the conductor of this offense more and set other players up for success. And that's what we saw. I mean, you go through this Dream starting 5 there, and Paopao 7 points, but again, the other talent that's on this team, obviously BG. Even if you're a casual basketball fan, you know who Brittany Griner is. Alicia Gray, that's a name that is probably underrated in the league, but it's a name that I think more fans are starting to know. Ryan Howard is a name that I think a lot of people know. You think of the Atlanta Dream in past years, Ryan Howard is the name that you think of. Just needed that support around her, and now there's more of that. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how this team does. But yeah, playing the Mystics, who that's another team I'm going to be very interested in seeing this year with the young players that they have coming in, because they had 2 lottery picks with Sonia Cintron of Notre Dame, out of Notre Dame, and then the other one, Kiki Irifen, obviously from USC. Seeing how they do, when they have Brittany Sykes, and I think Aaliyah Edwards is hurt right now, so they're not even fully healthy. But with the Dream, I think, and I still think this, that they can be a playoff team. It's one game here. But I just don't know how far they're going to be able to go. I do wonder about their depth a little bit because, looking at the box score and you see a lot of minutes from their starting 5, and then after that, not a ton. I mean, just point production as well. There's just not much there. 10 points from Nia Coffey off the bench. Only 3 points from Shatori Walker-Kimbrough. The other 2 played, Naz Hillman and Maya Caldwell, but they didn't score. So I do wonder a little bit about their depth this year. But if we're going to bring this conversation back to Tina Paopao, I think this is someone that can excel. She's someone that can shoot the 3, someone that can play defense, and I think she's good at setting up others for success. We saw that at South Carolina and the teammates that she had there. So, obviously won that natty a couple years back. She can do that. And so I'm going to be interested in seeing, as we go further here, that combination. And I loved seeing that she got that start. I wasn't sure if she was going to get that start, but, first round pick, and she ends up getting the start right out of the gate. So it's early. And for me to really have more of an opinion on this Atlanta Dream team, excuse me, I'm going to need to see a little bit more. And same goes for pretty much every team. Not every team, because there are teams in the league like the Liberty, the Fever, I think we know are going to be good. The Lynx, I know they're going to be good. I'll get to that with the Sparks conversation here in a little bit. But the 3 San Diego teams, and what I mean by that, obviously the 3 players from San Diego, Plum with the Sparks, Paopao with the Dream, Carrington with the Wings, and that's why we'll get to the Wings right now. I got to see a little bit more from these games to just see, and the different opponents that they face as well. how far could maybe these teams go? But getting to the Dallas Wings, again, playing tonight against the Seattle Storm, who really struggled against the Mercury in their season opener in Phoenix. So I hope the Wings can end up taking this one tonight. But yeah, Dijonay, they played the Minnesota Lynx to open it up. And obviously a lot was going to be made about this because of the debut of Paige Beckers, but more focused on the San Diegan here and Dijonay. 26 minutes for her, 5 of 11 from the field, did make one of her 2 threes, made all of her 4 free throws, 15 points, which was the second most points on the team behind Arike, which is not surprising at all. If you know anything about the Dallas Wings, it's that Arike scores, and she hasn't had a ton around her, but she scores. So I think you're going to see less of that this year because there is more talent around her. So that's actually a good thing if you are Arike because you want more help. But yeah, from Dijonay, she made that one amazing move where she's running down with the ball and right hand and then spin fade away on a shot, turns around. It was just an amazing shot. Obviously drains that 3 on the right wing. Obviously she's known for her defense, and so that's not something that's going to stick out all of the time necessarily on the box score. Um, she had 4 rebounds in this game, no blocks. But I think we got to remember, this is the first time that the Wings are playing together in a real regular season game. It may take some time to develop this. And by the way, it may take some time for Dallas to have some success because excuse me, Paige is obviously right there in the middle of things for this team to have success, right? With the number 1 pick, Paige is a huge part of this. And watching that game, she looks small right now. And we know that Caitlin Clark in the offseason, she obviously got in the weight room and put some work in. Paige is at that same spot that Caitlin was last year where she's coming from her college season, didn't have that time off to go work on that. And so you may not get the best version of Paige Beckers in her rookie season. And this is one game. I'm not trying to overreact to it. I'm just saying, watching the game, she looks small. And I think next season for Dallas, and maybe this is just a one-time thing for Dijonay because a lot of players are going to be free agents at the end of the year with the new CBA. That's just a lot of players, they sign those 1-year deals for that reason. But if this ends up being a long-term thing in Dallas, we could see this team, I could totally see this team have more success down the road than this year. And I think a lot of that could be with Paige and her development. I still think Dallas is going to be a playoff team, but the Fever last year, for example, right? How they weren't able to go far. Dallas, I could potentially see that happening. It depends on matchups, but they have some scoring, sure. Arike, obviously, and Dijonay can score. There are other players on this team that can score. Maddie Segrist off the bench. Paige obviously can score. She 10 points this past game, but her WNBA debut. Remember, Caitlin had a slow start against Connecticut, and Dijonay was on that team, played a part in that for sure. One of the best defensive teams right out of the gate she had to face. In Dallas, what do they have to do? Right out of the gate, they had to face the Minnesota Lynx, one of the better defensive teams, if not the best. And I think the Lynx are going to win it all this year. I think Nafisa Collier is going to win MVP. So they had a tough test right out of the gate. So Dijonay's performance, I thought it was okay. And I'm not going to overreact to that either. I want to see her and this Dallas team together more, and we'll see more of that tonight, obviously, when they play the Seattle Storm. Obviously, that you want to get that win, but I think you got to be realistic with a new squad like this. I know they were playing at home, but it's a new squad. You're facing the best team in the league, arguably. And, well, there was no Kayla McBride and Alana Smith that game. I think she came back against the Sparks, but so it wasn't the full version of the Lynx, but still, you're not expected to win that game, and they didn't win that game. But Dijonay, there were definitely some impressive moments still in that game for her. Now, final game or 2 games, because the Sparks have played 2 games. Final player that I wanted to get to was obviously Kelsey Plum, La Jolla Country Day product. Um, let's start with the Valkyries game and then go to the Lynx game that happened yesterday in LA. But the Valkyries game, 84-67. Obviously, it was the Valkyries' first game in their franchise's history as the expansion team. Looked like a sellout crowd, great crowd, but it was the Kelsey Plum show. Totally was. And she started off her like MVP campaign pretty darn good, I would say. Made history. Now, hours before, Fee with the Lynx set the record, I want to say, with 34 points, most points in a season opener by a player. And then Kelsey Plum comes in and says, no, I'll do better than that. I'll play all 40 minutes of my team's game and I'll score 37 points. I'll be a plus 17 in the plus minus. I'll go 11 for 19 from the field. I'll drop 4 threes, make all 11 of my free throws, grab a couple of rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals. Like, she was all over it. And then obviously it helps when you have 3 others in Rakia Jackson, Azare Stevens, and De'Erica Hamby. Those are the other, big 3, if you will, other than Kelsey Plum on this team right now, healthy. Cam Brink, obviously not healthy yet. And Ray Burrell ends up getting hurt. She'll be out, I think it was like 6 to 8 weeks. So that sucked to see, but there was scoring around her, and she went off. And her being that playmaker, I think, is huge. And her being the player on this team, like, that's not who she was with the Aces, but she knew that. Like, she knew that role. But now she's won the championships with Vegas. Now she can go be that player and help put the Sparks back into contention year in and year out, a place that they haven't been since Candace Parker was there. And yes, it's one game, but I mean, I said it before the season. I think KP can be top 5 MVP, and it got off to one heck of a start. Her step back threes, her not being afraid to run to the basket and make those tough I don't want to say layups, but but they're contested, if that makes sense. But she's one of those dogs. She is a dog. I mean, Plum Dog. It's not. It's a nickname that was definitely earned for sure. It's not just one of those that gets thrown around. I do feel like the term dog gets thrown around a lot. Kelsey Plum fits that for sure. She's like, not like, she is my second favorite player in this league, behind Sabrina, and it's very, very close, as I said in my WNBA preview video the other day. So fun to watch, and Steve Kerr was in the building for this game against the Valkyries, and that's what he was saying to Kelsey. They had a video that was posted on social media, and Steve hugging her was just like, "You're so fun to watch." And who was the other? I think it was Doc Rivers. Was it Doc? Yeah, I think it was Doc Rivers that was also there. And you could just tell, and those are NBA coaches. They were just impressed with the performance that KP just put on in that game. So that was awesome. Sparks, yes, they're a playoff team. I think that out of these 3 teams, Wings, Dream, and the Sparks, I feel like the Sparks can go the farthest. I don't think they're going to, knock off the Liberty or knock off the Lynx or anything like that. But I think they're going to be a very interesting team to watch this season, a fun team to watch. I'm going to be trying to get up to at least one game up there in LA this year, maybe multiple, to see KP play in person. But yeah, that was really fun to watch, that Valkyries game to start off the season. And then they lost game 2 to the Minnesota Lynx. And like I was talking about with the Wings weren't expected to beat the Lynx. The Lynx, in my opinion, and I know I'm a Sabrina fan, so I don't really like saying this, but I think it's the truth. The Minnesota Lynx, I think they are the best team in the league going into this season, and they've continued to just, I guess, prove that to start off the year. I know Cheryl Reeve last night in her post game wasn't very happy with it being close at halftime because it was a 1-point game. Sparks were only down by 1 at half. She wasn't happy about that, and she, had to. She's like been giving the Lynx, like, the first half is theirs to do what they want to do, the players, but then they're gonna, start doing things the coach wants in the second half, when it got close there. So maybe we shouldn't credit the Sparks too much here, because if the Lynx were playing with the necessary, what's the right word? The necessary, I don't know, urgency, maybe is the right word. If they were playing with that from the get go, would it have been that close? But I mean, Minnesota, they still put 30 points on the Sparks in the first quarter, 16 in the second quarter, but the Sparks hung in there in the first quarter. They put 25 on Minnesota. And Minnesota is one of the best defensive teams and obviously one of the best teams, just period, in the league. So the Sparks definitely were not expected to win this game. I know they were playing at home, but totally not expected to win this game. And that they were able to hang in there, I think we can give credit to them for that. But, Lynn Roberts, coach of the Sparks, obviously, post game, wasn't happy with some of how, LA was playing and how they have played. Derek Hamby, I thought it was funny at one point, actually covered Coach Roberts' mouth when there was a question about, I think, out of bounds plays or something like that. And Derek was like, she's not happy about it. I'll answer it for her. So that message has been sent, and we'll see. KP, even after the Valkyries game, with the win there, she was talking about how she needs to be better with certain things and how, I forget exactly what it was, but saying how something essentially was her fault. And so she's like self-reflecting almost in the moment there. So I think that's obviously a positive sign. And she's just a great leader for this team. So very interested in seeing how this season progresses for the Sparks, just like I am with Dallas and with Atlanta. But yeah, I this of the three teams, I'm probably going to be paying the most attention to the Sparks. They are the closest team to us here in San Diego. Of these three, I mean, I love all three of these players, but KP is uh, my favorite, you know, over these other two. But those other two, like if I have my favorite players in the league, it's Sabrina, it's KP, and then right after that, it's Dejanay, it's Paopao. I put Caitlin in there because I do really enjoy watching her play. I enjoy watching Skylar Diggins play as well with Seattle. There's a lot of players, but yeah, these all these San Diego players. I mean, they're way up there for me. So definitely going to be watching tonight for the Wings and the Storm there, and we'll see if Dallas can get their first win of the season. But yeah, I think like takeaways. Kelsey in the second game against the Lynx here obviously wasn't as efficient shooting wise. 3 for 9 from three, 5 of 14 from the field. Against the Valkyries, she was 11 for 19, 4 of 6 from three, 11 of 11 from the free throw line. And yesterday, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. 18 points yesterday, 37 against the Valkyries. It's not all about points, though. There's more to it. She had only 6 to 5 in the comparison with the assists. Rebounds, two in both games. Only one steal against the Lynx, 5 steals against the Valkyries. With the Lynx, like they're a better team than the Valkyries are, so I think part of that is, Kelsey could have been looking to do that, but the Lynx are probably going to make smarter passes at this point in time because they are the better team. They just have probably the smarts over the Valkyries at this point anyway as well. So I don't take too much from that. And again, like they were expected to lose this game. Sure, there's things to work on, but to have a 1-1 start in the first two games for the Sparks, that's totally not the end of the world. I think it's a fine start. The game they should have won, they won, and KP was phenomenal. The game that they should have lost, they lost, and they hung in there. They hung in there really like. I mean, the third quarter they outscored 24-17, so maybe that's where you could say, okay, that's where it started to get away. But halftime was a 1-point game. They're not fully healthy. And it's the beginning of the year with a new coach and some new players. And so it's going to take some time. Like it's going to take some time for Atlanta. Same thing for Dallas. So there you got it. Any thoughts that you have, you can let me know in the comments on YouTube if you're listening on the podcast platform. Thank you as well. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. I did see my first video on this because I'm just trying this new here, just talking about the San Diegan WNBA players and their teams, and because I want San Diego to have a WNBA team. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that there is an interest still in the WNBA here in San Diego, and so hopefully people do enjoy me talking about it. If you don't, and you're like, "Why are you talking about the WNBA?" This is a Padres San Diego sports channel. There's no San Diego team here. Um, then you don't have to watch it. But I enjoy talking about it, and I think there's what, a few hundred people that watched that first one. So as long as there's some interest in it, I do want to keep doing it and just create that conversation about these players that deserve to be talked about. You're not going to hear this anywhere else in San Diego, so um, I'll be here for you as long as I see that people are still interested in it.